Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 January kits. So I thought I would make sort of a Valentine-ish layout for today's project, and I was inspired by a layout, actually two layouts that I've seen recently by other design team members. I saw a layout that Erit made using a rainbow color scheme, and that inspired me to kind of do the same thing. So I went through a lot of the papers and put together what I thought made a really pretty rainbow, and I'm going to be doing some punching. This is a big heart punch from my stash. I think I got that from Hobby Lobby a while ago, and so I'm just going to punch two hearts from each of these papers. Another layout that I've seen recently is one by Lisa, who's also on our design team, and she made a really pretty, bright, and fun layout using a lot of hearts in sort of she used a vertical line and a horizontal line, and I thought it was really pretty, and it inspired me to punch some hearts. And so that's what I'm going to do here, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to arrange them on my layout, and I don't even think I've chosen my photos yet. So I just wanted to get the hearts punched, and once I have an idea of kind of how I want the background to go or what I'm going to use for my paper, it kind of helps me sort of put the layout together before I even need a picture. And so what I'm going to do, since I have two of each of the hearts, I'm going to start to just play around with the design. I thought about just kind of doing a crooked vertical line like this. I'm going to try layering the hearts, but since they're the same size, I'm going to take the second heart in each color and just trim it by hand to make it a little bit smaller. And so now I'm going to have a big heart and a smaller heart and then a messy outline that I cut off. And I thought I would just throw those away, but then the more I looked at them, the more I liked the way they looked, and I'm going to incorporate those onto my layout as well. So here's what I've done thus far. I did this off camera. I just stitched the smaller flower. That's not a flower, that's a heart. See how many times I say flower instead of heart today. Stitched the smaller one on top of the big one, and so now I can bend the edges up of the smaller heart and create some layering there. And here's some funny pictures. I had to make a photo strip of all three of these. It's my youngest daughter. I was trying to take some selfies with her, and she kept looking at me and laughing and trying to kiss me. And by the third picture, she just basically attacked my face. And I think it's the sweetest and most hilarious progression of photos ever, because she wasn't even interested in looking at the camera. She was too busy looking at me and trying to eat my face off. And I just, they make me laugh because she's so funny. But anyway, I printed them off in sort of a photo strip there on a 4x6 photo paper, and now I'm just going to play around with the placement of all of these hearts. I thought about doing diagonal, or not diagonal, but horizontal, and then I thought I'll try vertical, and I think I like the vertical better since my photos are vertical. And then here's where I wanted to add in the little edges of the or the outline of the hearts that I cut, and I thought I would do sort of, you know, the green one by the green one, the yellow by the yellow, and so on and so on. And then I thought I would do the pink, or the darker pink, and the red kind of underneath the photos, and I really like how that looks right there. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of just moving it all over the place, I'm going to just go ahead and glue every little piece together, and so I can just move all of those hearts as one big chunk. That way I can, you know, I don't have to worry about where did this heart go, and was this one to the right or this one to the left, because once I get it just like I want it, I can never recreate that. So now I can just kind of move it all together, and I don't have to worry about it. This is the background paper that I'm going to use. It's from the Everyday Musings collection from Pink Fresh Studio, as are a lot of those other papers that I cut the hearts from. I think one of them, two of them may be from crepe paper, I believe. So what I'm going to do is add some white gesso to my background here. I am going to add some mixed media things from the color kit, and so to kind of fade out some of those circles or dots on the background and to go ahead and prep the paper for the mixed media, I'm going to go ahead and use the gesso, and that's perfect for that. So now you can kind of see how much easier it is to move all those hearts around now that they're all stuck together. I wasn't sure if I wanted the hearts to be to the left or right in the middle, so now I can kind of move them all around. So I'm going to go ahead and get my photos layered up here with some tissue paper just to add sort of a messy background or layer behind the photo. It's going to help it stand out against all that color. So these are some goodies from the color kit this month. This is one of the Prima blooms, and I'm going to mix it with some shimmers. And all of the shimmers that I wind up using are from previous color kits. They may be from one from last year, meaning 2018, 2017, but I keep all of the shimmers, since we've gotten so many of them, I keep them out on my desk because they tend to go with each kit that we continue to get. I really like these Prima blooms. I just sprayed a little bit of the yellow one, and I'm just going to kind of spray them down and then spray some water on top of it and kind of tilt the paper around and just let the colors run and blend just to kind of get some color going on the background. Now the Prima blooms are very bold, especially the yellow. It's very bright, as you can see here. So I'm going to work with several colors here and just sort of create some tones that match the papers that I've got going in the heart. So that pink is definitely not the same pink. So I'm going to just work with it. That's what I'm going to start with. And you can kind of see here, this is just sort of a runny mess. You just spray and let it run and blend and then dab up a little bit and keep adding color until you get it like you like it. And a lot of that is going to be covered up with the hearts, and my goal is just to get it to where you can see it kind of peeking around the edges and in between. So this is a shimmers we got, I think, back in August. It's called Oaky Bear Blue, and it's a really pretty shimmery darker blue color, more of on the navy side. And if you notice in the paper of the hearts, there's a darker blue one down at the bottom. It's more of a, I would call it more of a royal, cross between royal and navy. And I'm just trying to mix colors to kind of match closely to what is in the hearts that I've got. This is another shimmers. This is a gold minor 49er. I thought I would mix it with that bright yellow to kind of make it more of a mustardy color to match the heart that's yellow, because that yellow color in the heart paper, or in the heart, is, it's not bright sunshiny yellow, it's more of a mustardy green yellow. So I added a little bit of gesso to the pink to lighten it up a little bit, because I think it was just a little on the too pink side. I let it dry a little bit. You can kind of see how things lightened up. And I like how it looks. I'm going to keep working on it though. I felt like I needed some of that red color. Since I do have a red heart, I went back to the Christmas color kit, which was December. And if you remember, we got a red shimmers, and it's called Rednecking. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that up into the pink section there and add a lot of water to it to soften it up. So it still passes for a darker pink, but it has more of that red tone to it. And so it's going to pull some of that red from that paper. And I just kept playing around with it until I got it just like I wanted it. You can kind of see that red part peeking through that heart there. And I love how that looks. I think all the colors are still popping off the background. And I thought about doing tone on tone, like just doing yellow behind the yellow and blue behind the blue, but I just decided to kind of reverse it and change it up. And the more embellishments that I'm going to add, you'll kind of see how I mix and match the colors around. Now, all I'm doing here is adding a little bit of adhesive foam behind the two sides of each of the top layer of hearts, just to give them some dimension. I don't want those to lay flat. And so adding a little bit of foam underneath there, you can kind of see how they are lifted up off the page. And that just creates some shadowing and some dimension and doesn't make it look so flat. I like things to pop up off the page and just look like if you touched it, you know, it's not going to be flat. So I pulled some darker blue and lighter blue thread from my stash. I'm going to add a little bit of that over to the right of the photo to pull some of the blue from the bottom of the page up to that area. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down all of those hearts. And I don't try to glue down every single piece. I just add a little bit of glue here and there, and that's enough to get it all stuck down. I am going to add some of that foam behind my pictures since I've got some dimension going on with the hearts. I felt like it would give a little pop to the photos there. And I'm going to layer it underneath the green heart, but on top of the red heart there. And then I went through some of the die cuts from Pink Fresh Studio Everyday Musings. I've got some of the layered heart stickers, some of the puffy stickers, and I'm just going to embellish. I'm going to use a couple of flowers from the die cuts and the puffy stickers around the photo area there. And it's just going to add a few more pops of color, a little bit more detail. And I always love mixing and matching hearts and flowers. I think those are two of my favorite shapes to use. I'm going to use a couple of these hearts. They have adhesive foam underneath them, and then the little tab on top of the hearts also has adhesive foam, so they are definitely dimensional. You can take them apart and just lay them flat if you want to do that also. There are some really cute phrase and sentiment pieces on these sticker sheets and in the die cuts, and I'm going to try to use a couple of those. I wind up taking that one off. It just looks weird sticking out there at the top, so I play around with placement on a couple of those, but decide not to use them. I do use one in between the second and third photo there. I think it says "Love Your Spirit." I wanted to use that flare button, but I couldn't really find a spot for it because I didn't want to get too crazy with embellishments, because I feel like, you know, the hearts are pretty busy by themselves, and so I'm going to kind of leave well enough alone. I am going to go with these Pink Fresh Studio small alphas. I'm going to use the blue color, and I decided to go with the title "Just What I Need," because that is exactly what I was thinking when I was trying to get her to get a selfie with me. I thought I just wanted her to smile at the camera, but when she turned to me and basically put me in a chokehold and tried to give me a kiss, I was like, oh yeah, that's just what I needed. And I just they make me smile when I look at these, because that's just the type of kid she is. And so at the end of the day, I think every mama just wants a kiss from her baby, and so it's definitely just what I need. And I didn't go with just what I needed because it's just would be too long of a word for that area, because I wanted to use those colorful puffy alphas, and so I just went with just what I need. And I did add a couple more hearts from that puffy sticker sheet around where the colors are, like the blue by the blue and the green by the green, and so on. I'm almost finished. I added in some lines with my ruler, and I wrote my journaling, and I did add some black splatters to pull from the black and white pictures, but that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. I know I say that almost every time, but I just get excited when I see the final product after putting it all together and just seeing how all the colors pop, and I love the dimension of those hearts. And that's just from adding some foam under there, so definitely get your hands on some of that foam. I did add some yellow thread over there as well, but that's the final thing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the kits or the techniques or anything at all. I'll be more than happy to answer. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.